and everybody watching the Blizzcon pay-per-view on DirecTV. And welcome to the World of Warcraft Dungeons and Raids panel. Please welcome Corey Stockton, Scott Mercer, and Travis David.
Hey guys. So I want to say thanks to everyone again for coming out to BlizzCon. So we're going to talk to you guys a little bit about the dungeons and raids that we've got lined up for you for Wrath of the Lich King. So my name is Corey Stockton and I'm the lead level designer.
My name's Scott Mercer, I'm the lead encounter designer.
I'm Travis David, the organization.
And this is Lee Sparks, he's our design producer, he's going to be running us through the dungeons today. So let's get started. So what we're going to, first off, we're going to start talking about our actual 5-man dungeons. We're going to start here with the Halls of Lightning. Halls of Lightning is a level 80 dungeon that's located in the Storm Peaks, one of our in-game zones. And there's a lot to talk about with this dungeon. It fits in really close with our Titan lore. One of the things that we thought was so important to do is to make sure that the dungeons tie in really close with the lore that we're looking to get out of the game. So we want to make sure that the things we're doing in the dungeons actually make sense and follow what's happening in the quest lines. That's something that we think is really key. Not only are you getting in there to get loot and to complete quests and to possibly getting heroic badges, we want to be developing the story and pushing things forward as we go. So we want to make sure that those things are happening the whole time. Now what's cool about Halls of Lightning is that it's a Titan dungeon. Titans are something that we've talked about for a long time, and I think most everyone knows at least the general theory that Titans crafted Azeroth and all the planets and knows the basic story of them. But there's a lot of history there that we've never really had a chance to get into. And so the main thing we're trying to get across here is this feeling of epicness. We want to create a dungeon that kind of has a feeling like nothing you've ever felt before. It's huge in scale. The creatures that you're fighting here feel epic also, just as in not only that they're huge, but that they've got unique abilities and that they all feel a little bit different and they feel like they match what we're talking about. But we can't necessarily let you fight Titans right off the bat. I think we would be the size of their toe, most likely, if we were going to fight a Titan. So we run into some things there. So we've come up with a lot of new creatures that really fit and that really help kind of explain what's going on here. As we go through the dungeon, something we've done historically when we've had these dungeon and raid talks at BlizzCon is we've shown layout maps of what the dungeons look like and how we create them in 2D before. This time we decided to do something a little different. We're actually going to run you guys through the dungeon in real time on the beta servers. That's the reaction we were hoping for, so that's good. So the thing that's really neat about this, where we're able to kind of take these dungeons in a new direction, is that we can create fights that feel more unique for each boss because you've got a lot more story to go with. Whereas we don't really have necessarily 3 wings that we have to fill. We've got to have 3 bosses for each wing, and this is yes, that might be a standard of something that we want to goal. We know we want 3 bosses, or we know we want it to feel like this, but we want every instance to feel unique. And I think that's something we're going to keep hitting on. We want it to stand out because we definitely do shorter instances now that we've done it. We think the players like that, a little bit of a shorter experience, but still have it feel epic. And I think that's what you guys are going to see here. So let's go ahead and cut to the in-game Halls of Lightning. So here you can see the intro. You can kind of get a feel for this place. It really feels huge. If you look over the ledge there, you can see down. There's tons of Titan statues down there that were used for different things. And we're kind of going to explain a lot of this in the quests that you're doing throughout the dungeons. As you're leveling up through Storm Peaks, you're going to kind of find out what the actual purpose of the dungeon is. But I think one thing we're doing, we're trying to build the dungeons where they feel huge, they're large, but your gameplay space isn't necessarily that big. Because I think people like to feel like they're in a big space and they've got a lot to do, but you don't necessarily want to feel like you have to get on your mount in the dungeon because it's so large. So we're trying to give that feeling through the art, but also make sure that the gameplay space actually fits what we're doing here. So that's one of our first bosses in here is actually a roamer that walks around on those platforms, so you can kind of choose where you want to fight him, how exactly you want to interact. Something we're always trying to do in the dungeons is to keep a little bit of choice. Like, granted, sometimes we do dungeons that are completely non-linear, and you can choose anywhere you want to go, fight bosses in different orders. Here, in Halls of Lightning, it definitely has a direction to it, but there's some small things you can do along the way. Helps really develop the story if we're moving from one point to the next. I think Lee's taking a look up here at one of our next areas. This is Volcon. He's one of the second bosses that you can fight in here. And you can kind of get a sense for this. We're trying to kind of create a sense of space so that when you come into the dungeon, you might be foreshadowed by a couple of the bosses, so you notice how you can see him from down below. And I think that really helps, like, wow, what is that guy? How do I get up to him? How do I fight him? We're trying to kind of, you know, not necessarily just show you what's there, but give you an impression of, man, that guy looks really scary. Do we want to get up there? Do we want to fight that guy? And I think it creates a little bit of suspense in the dungeon, helps liven things up. Do that door, nice. So here, now in this room we've got these really, really amazing statues. Now they're basically constellations that have formed into statues. Now they're here obviously because they look great from an artistic standpoint, but they also kind of fit with the concept of the Titans and what they're doing. Basically, the Titans crafted the entire world, and so constellations and things like this actually have completely different meanings. So this is just a story element, but it just really helps break up the style of the dungeon. So obviously you're seeing a lot of stone, pillars and stuff, but we want to make sure that we've got breakups so you can know, oh, what section am I at in the dungeon? Oh, this was the place with those crazy constellation statues, you know? So you can get to know a sense of each of the dungeons have different sections. Here's our third boss here. This is an air elemental. Custom. You can also tell that we built a ton of custom models here for Wrath of the Lich King. It's one thing we really pushed hard for. Wanted to something we really tried to, it's a rule we have to follow, but it's really difficult, is that our boss models look so great, we want to use them out in the world all the time. We want players to say, this model looks so awesome, how come we only have it in one spot in the game? But I think it's worth it when you finally get in here and you get to do the dungeon and you see that new model. It's totally worth it to have it there. It's that feeling of you got to kill that one guy, and it's just that guy, it's not something different.